Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. All right, rock stars. Today we are going to call this top of the blogs the common sense edition. You know, when I was reading up on the stories and I was trying to research certain things and all that, I finally came to the conclusion that all of the stories that I was going to talk about today is just plain old fucking common sense. I don't need to even get to the facts. I'm just gonna let you guys know how I feel about it. We just gonna talk a little bit about each of these stories. You know, with the exception of a few things, most of them are just common sense. Okay, so the first story, let's talk about these reparations. Y'all, we ain't really got to get deep up into it. Mitch McConnell, he believes that reparations are not necessary because the people that were responsible for slavery some 150 years ago are no longer alive, even though they are descendants of slave owners. He doesn't believe that he should be held responsible for something that his ancestors have done. We know that black people, as descendants of slaves, are still suffering at the hands of what the slave owners did, and we also know that descendants of slave owners are still reaping the benefits. And that is the bottom line. Mitch McConnell said what I knew and what I believe is going to make it the most difficult when we try to get this bill passed so that they can start looking into possibly starting some reparations for black people. Their biggest and strongest argument will be those people are not here anymore. We did not make those decisions. So it's frustrating. But for him to just be like, oh, well, we fought the Civil War, okay, to end slavery, and we elected a black president. You guys should be okay with that, okay? Well, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we love Barack Obama and Michelle Obama with all our hearts. But I still don't know how that's changed too much, okay? If anything, things are really worse for black people right now. So I just think that he believes that if they just throw us a few little things, as if Barack Obama was just so that we can shut black people up, we'll let him be president, that years and years and years and years of systematic racism and just all of the things that African Americans go through on a day-to-day basis here. I mean, it's just like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, you really got your fucking nerves. And yesterday at the hearing, how do you say the guy's name? Ta-Nehisi? Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. I probably am. He read Mitch McConnell quite a bit, didn't he? Gave him a quick history lesson so that he could know that the things that he was saying was quite ridiculous. But we'll see what goes on with that bill. And if there were to be some reparations, I really do wonder how they will. I mean, you can look at a person and know if they black, right? But I don't know how they would even give money out to every single black person who has, you know, I'm just curious to see how they would even go about doing this. But if the question is, should reparations be made, then absolutely yes. Didn't they do something like that for the Holocaust victims? So it seems like it could be possible for some black folks too. But we'll see what happens there, you guys. What do you guys think about reparations? Not if you think that it is going to be very difficult. Just the question is, do you believe that it should happen? Now, whether it is going to happen is a whole nother thing. But what is your opinion on reparations? As a black person, if you are black, if you are not black, I would still like to hear your feelings on it. There are so many people now that have a little bit of everything in them. I would just want to know how they would even classify all this to go down. So you guys just let me know. But that Mitch McConnell is something else. Oh, we gave you a black president. Y'all just, what else you want? Damn! The more things change, the more things stay the same. Ain't that right? So Drayvon and Aisha, they was at a Family Dollar in Phoenix, Arizona, and their daughter walked out the store with a Barbie doll, okay, or a little baby doll. They probably ain't got Barbie dolls at the Family Dollar. Anyway, she walked out. They're saying unbeknownst to them, and the police were called within Family Dollar. Now, what I have found out about this story is Drayvon has admitted to the police that he did steal underwear while he was in the store. Okay. And when they looked at the surveillance cameras, they could see that something like the little girl wanted the doll or something, and the mom picked up the doll from the little girl and threw it into a display and walked out of the store. However, the little girl still ended up walking out with the box. Okay. But okay, all of that happened. Now y'all got that, right? Now the police was called. The family got in their car, drove off. The police followed them, had them pull over into an apartment complex, and then that is when you guys see the video that we've all seen now, where the police are terrorizing this young family. Now, the common sense part of this story is, was Drayvon and Aisha doing wrong? Okay, well, Drayvon already admitted that he stole some underwear. Okay, so that was wrong, right? Aisha, you know, I don't think that she knew, so far anyway, that her daughter had walked out, you know, of the store and was stealing. So there was some wrong going on there. However, did the police overreact? Absolutely. If you guys are only going on the fact that a baby doll was stolen from the store by a 4-year-old, whether or not the parents knew that, why the police got to act like the family had fucking robbed a bank and had all types of guns and artillery on them, is a whole nother matter. It makes no sense that their reaction to this young family, the girl was pregnant, she had her 4-year-old, and she even had a smaller child. Okay, the police is screaming and yelling, you know, do what I tell you to do. If you don't do what I tell you to do, you know, I'll fucking put a bullet in your head. And they had elevated that situation so high that it was a wonder that nobody got shot. And what may have saved that family was the fact that people in the complex were recording, telling the police to calm down. Can you de-escalate this? Okay, can we just bring it down a little bit so that everybody don't feel like your fingers on the fucking trigger? And this is the problem that a lot of people have with the police right now. This fact that they are so, you know, hyped up on this power trip. We already know you the fucking police. You got the gun. So we gonna pretty much do what you tell us to do most times. But for them to, I mean, first of all, you're yelling and screaming. Okay, I got a baby in my hand. The baby can't walk. Where do you want me to put the baby? Put the baby down. Put her where? Okay, on the ground? Okay, and then if I move, are you going to shoot me? I'm pregnant. Okay, I got a 4-year-old. You over there yelling at my, you know, my man over there. I mean, it was just so ridiculous, that video. Now, the family has secured a lawyer. They're saying that Jay-Z's Rock Nation is involved in this lawsuit, or at least advising them. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be the ones that handle the entire case, but they have now brought a case against the city for $10 million. Now, I definitely believe that they will settle this case before it gets to this $10 million, because it has been such a, you know, we've all seen the video. The mayor and the chief has come out and said that this is not reflective of the entire police department, you know, yada, 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 the same shit that they always say. But all I can say is thank God for video, right? Man, we see more and more the same thing happening. And damn it, if you was going to arrest the people because the little girl had done stole a doll, then why couldn't we just walk up to the car and be like, excuse me, your little girl done took a doll. They got you on video stealing some underwear. Get on up out the car because we about to arrest you. And that would have been it. But all this yelling and screaming and carrying on. Okay, now the store has dropped the charges, even though the man had admitted that he stole the underwear, because they now know that they did way too fucking much. And not necessarily the store, but the police. Child, it is just really ridiculous. I don't understand where the humanity in the police are. They have none. They just have absolutely none. And of course, that's not every single one of them, but it's a lot of them. And it happens more and more. And then when you hear the report that the police put in, they make it seem like it was way, way more civilized than what really happened. Again, thank God for videos, right? We wouldn't have known what happened if we didn't see it on video. And that also brings to the point that this happens more and more, but a lot of times video aren't around. And so then you have to just go by what the police say. But yeah, just incredibly terrorizing. Okay, I mean, it was so much yelling and confusion that yeah, common sense ought to tell you that the police did not need to do all of that. So we're gonna see if this family gets anything out of this this case against the city. They're gonna get something. They're gonna get something. But you guys tell me what you think about that. Do you think that all that needed to happen over some underwear and a baby doll? I know there's people out there that will say it don't matter. Okay, stealing is stealing. But we're not talking about the act of stealing. We're talking about the reaction of the police, who are there to bring order and do their job. And if there's no resistance, then why are we doing all of this? All right, you guys, so down there in the DR, you know, we've been talking about it. People dying, their mysterious deaths. I think the number is up to 9 people now, United States citizens who have gone over there on vacation and somehow, some way have found themselves dying, usually by some sort of heart problems or breathing problems. Well, now that the deaths have become newsworthy, and in the grand scheme of things, you guys, when you think about 9 people who visit the island who've died compared to the thousands of folks who vacationed there, who, you know, were able to go and come back, that's not that many. However, the spotlight is shined on it, of course, because a lot of these deaths have happened within the same resort. Okay, people are calling the resort the death hotel. It's terrible, you guys. But the Bahia Principe, evidently they've got a few different resorts on the island, and yeah, they've had some deaths there. So now it's been enough, I guess, that people have died from very similar circumstances, that, you know, they're involving these forensic tests and all that. The DR's Ministry of Health Communications Director, his name is Carlos Suero. Okay, that was when I was doing my research. He said that they are, you know, testing samples taken from mini bars. They're testing the shower water, the sink water, trying to see if there's any strange bacteria in there. To me, it sounds like there is a case of synthetic alcohol, you know, alcohol that may have been stretched with poisonous things, certain things that some people can tolerate and other people can't. That seems to be what a lot of the deaths have stemmed from, because you've always heard that these people had drank at the mini bar or had a drink, and then they went back to their room and they got sick and died. So it seems like there's some sort of connection either with the alcohol, or some people are even saying the ice cubes that are in the drinks. Some people are saying it could be pesticides that have gotten into the air vent system, because some people have complained about moldy smells or strange smells coming from the air conditioning system. But whatever it is, we need to figure out what's going down at the Bahia Principe. Even though 9 people is not that much, it's still enough, I believe, to garner an investigation. Now, it's not just been the Bahia Principe. I think the Hard Rock Casino, not casino, the hotel, I don't know if it's a casino there, but the Hard Rock Hotel out there also had a death or 2 there. So those 2, and they're nowhere near each other. So, you know, they're still trying to figure out what exactly is going down there. But yeah, it is still a little bit of alarming. You know, maybe we just, it's a whole bunch of other places in the Caribbean. Maybe you just might need to take it on somewhere else until we can figure out what the hell going on down there in the DR. And while we talking about the DR, I'll throw in there as well that I saw in the news last night that they're saying that the hitmen that attacked Big Papi, the retired baseball player, y'all, I know he's retired. I didn't know it then, but you guys sure told me. The guys that shot the retired baseball player, they're saying that it was a case of mistaken identity, and that actually they meant to shoot the guy that normally sits at that very same table every single Sunday night. Okay, that is his spot. But I guess because he was hosting Big Papi, he let him sit in his seat, and he was sitting somewhere else. And the hitman that walked in went and shot him in the back, not knowing that it was Big Papi. Now, what y'all say to that? Even though the police have downplayed that story about the him having the affair with the drug dealer's wife, do you believe that this is just them trying to quiet the story some? So they're saying that he wasn't even the intended target, or do you believe that? Do you believe that the hitmen just didn't realize that was Big Papi sitting there? I'm gonna let you guys make the decision on that, but that's what they say. Big Papi was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Child, what's going on down there in the DR? Alright, you guys, 4 people were shot down, or I should say up, in Toronto as they celebrated their victory, their win over the Golden State Warriors for the NBA's, World Championship. They won. They were celebrating. They had their parades. They said over 1 million people were down in the square where they had the parade stopped for everybody to get up on stage and talk. They said over 1 million people were there. Then suddenly, somewhere near the north side of the city hall, they said there was some shooting that rang out, and a small burst of people got nervous and didn't know what was going on, and they ran. Now, I'm not sure if there were any people that were trampled, but nobody was killed. 4 people were hurt, injured, not critically injured. And they said for the most part, the rest of the celebrating people that were out there didn't even know that this had happened. So it was only in a location, in a small location of the entire parade. Other than that, it was a very peaceful and joyous occasion. This was historic for the city because it's their first win ever. Okay, so it's a shame that it had to be tarnished by shooting, but you guys know how that goes, especially today. I mean, I've gotten to the point where 1 million people just hearing that, and when I was looking at the video of the people down there in that square, that shit made me nervous just looking at it. Okay, I cannot especially between me growing up in Los Angeles and just now, it seems like these terrorists take opportunities where large gatherings of people, get together to wreak havoc. Okay, I can't get not the MGM, but the Mandalay Bay situation out of my head ever again. So just the thought of being out there with these millions of people and all that, I just can't do it no more, child. I can't do it. Rocky Nerves is not set up for that shit no more. But so it is a good thing that nobody was killed. They did arrest 3 people that were in connection to this shooting, and for the most part, it did not mess up the celebrations for the Toronto Raptors. Congratulations to them. Hopefully, all of these other NBA teams will regroup, get themselves together for next season. Come on, Lakers. Shit. Alright, you guys, so evidently there were some nudes that Bella Thorne had taken of herself, sent to her boyfriend, done what a lot of us have done in our times of having our cell phones. Took a couple of pictures, thought they were cute, sexy, sent them on to our boyfriends / husbands / wives / girlfriends, whatever. And you thought that was just between you and the person that you sent it to. Okay, well, now we know that there is a third person involved, a party called the Cloud. And the Cloud holds on to everything, even if you erase it. If you don't know that, now you know. The Cloud is always holding on to previous things that have been put into your phone. Okay? Now, Bella sent the picture. Boyfriend got it. The Cloud got it. And it's up there safe, we think, until the hackers get to it. And the hackers got in there. And they were threatening to release the pictures. Now, to take the power out of them releasing the pictures, Bella Thorne went on and released them herself. And I'm sure she was upset. because we have to remember that these actors and actresses and people, you know, they are humans and they have families and they have sometimes kids and, you know, grandparents and aunties and uncles and folks, you know, that will see these things and know about it. It's embarrassing, you know, it's humiliating. You didn't think that this was going to happen, and now it is. So I'm sure it was traumatizing for her, but she did what she had to do. Okay. Whoopi Goldberg, who is on the show The View and is paid to have a view, okay, and to voice her view, went on and said pretty much what I said. If you have pictures that you have taken of yourself that are nude and they go into the cloud, it is there for anybody, okay? And that is common sense. Now, like I said, you don't think about those things a lot of times, all right? We need to think about it more and more, but, you know, when you're in the midst of doing things like this, sometimes you just believe that you have this false sense of security, and you think that it's safe. We have got to realize that it's not safe anymore. We cannot do these things, and that's all that Whoopi Goldberg was saying, okay? Now, was she wrong in what she said? No. I don't even know if I felt like she was beating up on Bella Thorne, but in Bella Thorne's defense, you know, she's upset. She's already very defensive about what's happened. You know, she's a young girl. She felt like she was being attacked. Okay, so, you know, that shit that you don't want to hear, and you done did something and it done backfired, or it's gone, you know, it's gone against you, and then you have to hear somebody telling you that you can't do this no more. Okay, it's tough love, but it's also, you know, hard to hear when you are going through it. So, I mean, I guess what I could say to it is, I understand why Bella Thorne felt the way that she felt, but I also understand what Whoopi Goldberg was saying. Okay, now Bella Thorne deciding not to go onto the show, I was just like, well, then maybe that was a missed opportunity. Even Milan Christopher, I can't believe that I am talking about him in this whole situation. But he did say on the Shade Room, I saw his comment, somebody actually sent it to me as well, but I had already seen it, where he said this would have been a perfect time for you to go onto The View and kind of voice your opinion instead of, you know, being so upset and not sharing your side. You know, and just talking to Whoopi, you know, for you to just kind of not go there altogether, you know, it's just sort of like you weren't able to voice your opinion of everything. And I don't even know what her opinion would have been, other than, yeah, maybe I made a mistake, but I don't really like to hear people, you know, fussing at me about some shit that I did when I'm in the middle of it. You know what I'm saying? So their situation between Bella and Whoopi is just one of those situations. I don't know if Whoopi is going to apologize, because I'm sure that Whoopi meant what she said. Okay, so I don't know if she has or hasn't, but I mean, I can see both sides. I can understand just as sympathy for Bella as a young girl who's made a mistake. You know, we do those things, especially when you're younger. Okay, I talk to my Jada all the time about making certain decisions that'll stick with you for the rest of your life. You know, so it's just I mean, it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And I think once Bella's feelings aren't hurt any longer, and she can kind of sit back and not be in this really defensive way, she could see that Whoopi wasn't really trying to beat up on her, that she was just trying to make it clear that we can't do that anymore. Okay. But yeah, people make mistakes all the time, you guys. And we got to allow kids to make mistakes so that they make better decisions. But when it comes to things like this, and for people now watching, you know, to know that even if you was doing that shit back then, you just can't do it no more. You just can't do it no more. All of the topics today feel like quickies. Tiffany Haddish, she said she's not going to perform here in Georgia until that heartbeat law is gotten rid of. And more people are pulling out of performing here in Atlanta, in Georgia, I should say, and studios. We already know Netflix said they ain't doing it no more. Disney said they ain't doing it no more. So we're gonna see what happens with that heartbeat law. When you start pulling money out the state, you know, these politicians will start to listen. Now, I don't know how much money Tiffany Haddish is, but she did make a stand and can, you know, lead other entertainment people, you know, from coming here as well. So she said that she's not coming to Georgia because she doesn't understand how people who don't know you can tell you what to do with your body. You know, she did get emotional. I think she was a little tipsy as well, you guys. But when she was coming out of somewhere and TMZ caught her, you know, she got emotional. She said, listen, I was a foster child, okay? Ward of the state. The government told me what to do with my body all the way up till I was 18 years old. As a grown woman, and I threw in there as a grown, successful black woman, I'll be damned if the government is going to tell me what the fuck to do with my body today. I don't know these people from Adam. Yet and still, they're trying to tell me what I'm going to do. Things that'll have lifelong ramifications. Okay, are you going to help me? You know, so she did get emotional as she was going on and on. And the things that she said was very true. And that's how a lot of us feel. We'll see if her opinions and others start to make any differences out here in Georgia. But I tell you, it is a scary time. And I told you guys, my daughter, my son, you know, like I got young kids. And if they going to have to grow up in the era where it was like pre-Roe versus Wade, okay, when people was sneaking to do abortions and folks was dying and back alleying and all of this, yeah, I don't want my child to live in, I don't want my kids to live in a place where the government is telling you what to do. When it comes to a woman's body, good for Tiffany Haddish. I think it's great that she is taking a stand, and hopefully many others will too. We got to get that law changed, you guys, and with the quickness. Charlie said that your boy Apollo is back in jail. Now, I just reported to you guys, was that last week? Maybe 2 weeks ago, that he had gotten out of jail and that his woman, you know, his fiance, you know, she had picked him up. They had video of them walking down the street. They were kind of dressed alike. And, you know, we knew that he was in a halfway house and was scheduled to stay in the halfway house until the end of somewhere in October of this year. His sentence, I believe he had an 8-year sentence, was shortened. And now he was scheduled to get out in October. They were like, hey, we're going to put you in this halfway house, see if you can handle that. You know, you get a little bit of your freedoms back, get you a little bit more acclimated to, you know, civilization again. And he was out, I don't even think 2 weeks. And they had to put that ass back in jail. They said that he was, you know, taken back in under a technicality that he had violated in his parole. So at first I was just like, oh, technicality, you know, maybe he didn't even realize he was doing something. But now they're saying that there's a picture of him where he has his hand on the hip of, I'm assuming, his fiance. She doesn't have any clothes on. She has on a little, I think she had on a little G-string or something, and he had his hand on her hip. Whether or not they had had sex in this halfway house, we don't even know. But the picture implied that there was some having sex like situations going on there in the halfway house. And they had already told that ass, and don't you get out there and get to fucking everybody and doing all of that. And I guess because of the picture, that's what it insinuated. And they was like, see there, you can't even be out and act like you got some sense. I mean, if you gonna sneak and do something like that, why the hell you putting it on Instagram? Common sense ought to tell you that you don't put that shit on Instagram. You ain't supposed to be doing it anyway. Do you not think that the people at the police, at the jails are still looking at you, Apollo? We all know that you got a woman. Okay, we all know that you out. Okay, maybe y'all can get a quickie in the broom closet or something, but you ain't got to announce it to the whole fucking world. Nigga, you gonna just tell everybody that you fucking us. So that's why they was like, okay, well, since you want to do all that, taking pictures and whatnot, so we're gonna put you back in jail. Okay, and he gonna stay in jail till he get out in October, and then you can do all the fucking that you want to do. Okay, but as long as you under the, you know, as long as you under the Department of Corrections care, then there will be no more picture taken with your hand on hips and all of that. Okay, so yeah, too bad, too sad for Apollo, but you know, October will be here before you know it. He gonna be all right, you guys. Man, let's talk about old Cuba Gooding Jr. and how we about to see his career kind of go up in flames. I feel it coming. Okay, so maybe it's time that we should, you know, remember all of the good of Cuba Gooding Jr. Okay, remember his career and then Boys in the Hood and Jerry Maguire, okay, What Dreams May Come, loved him in that, American Gangster, The Butler, A Few Good Men, Norbit, Selma, the Tuskegee Airmen. Listen, the list goes on and on and on, okay? He's been in some bullshit ass movies, but he's been in some great movies as well. But we've also seen Cuba over the last few years, you know, enjoying the hell out of himself. Okay, remember the video of him putting that girl's whole finger in his mouth when he was dancing on top of the table or something, or had been ran on the stage? I mean, I don't really know what's going on with Cuba Gooding Jr., but he has been so wrapped up in partying lately. I mean, we have seen him in countless videos doing the most, and I was kind of wondering if this was going to catch up with him. And now he's been arrested. He had to turn himself in the other day because a woman said that, you know, he had touched her and she didn't want him to. Now he's got legal problems. Now we've got other women that are starting to come forward saying that Cuba Gooding Jr. You know, did this, that, and the other to them, that they didn't want it, didn't ask for it. And I'm not saying if he did or didn't. What I am saying is the videos that we have seen the last couple of years of Cuba Gooding Jr. having a good time has made it a little bit more difficult for the court of public opinion to give him that benefit of the doubt. He is maintaining, and his lawyer is maintaining, that there's not one scintilla. Is that scintilla? 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 SCINTILLA. What's that, y'all? Scintilla? There's not one iota. We're going to change it. One iota of truth to any of this. And I guess they're going to, I don't know. Yeah, I guess he's arrested, so that means that there might be a case that came from this, right? Or it's misdemeanor. So are they gonna let him go? Like, I don't really even know how this is gonna go, but I know that it's not gonna look good for him as far as his personal life is concerned. Cuba do look quite disheveled lately. Like, I'm not sure what's going on there. Like, is he an alcoholic? Are there drugs involved? What's happening there? You know, I don't follow him, so I don't know enough, but I do whenever his videos surface. He ain't looking at 100, y'all. He ain't looking even like at 80%. So I'm gonna need you guys to let me know what you think about old Cuba. Okay, do you think that this is the beginning of the tarnishing of his career? Or is this something that we should not make much ado about, and that all he's got to do is get past this case and get back on track, and things should be fine? I don't know if I feel like things gonna be fine for Cuba, though. Something tell me that it's about to be real rough for him. They say, oh, Brashear Gray. Okay, y'all know him as the youngest kid of the Lions, Hakeem Lion, on the show Empire. They say he was arrested the other day on a misdemeanor, driving his 2014 Rolls Royce in Chicago, and there were no tags on there. Okay, so the car wasn't registered. Not only that, but the car didn't have insurance, and Brashear's license was not with him. Not sure if it was expired or if he just wasn't carrying it, but please tell me what the fuck is going on where you have that kind of money and you can't even get your damn Rolls Royce registered. Like, why are you driving a car with no insurance and no registration? There's no excuse for that. Okay, common sense ought to tell you that you need to have some damn coverage. What if you hit somebody? People just be so intent on looking a certain way that you can't take care of the most basic necessities to drive the fucking car. Can we have a registration and insurance on the car, please? Can we? Please. Oh, I was reading that. I was just like, what? And he has the money? It's not like he's broke. I don't know what's going on with that cast down there at Empire. Okay, what's happening in Chicago, y'all? They say that Lavar Ball has been banned from ESPN for, you know, the lewd comment that he said to Jalen Rose's wife. What's her name? I didn't even write it down. But she is a correspondent, obviously, on a show on ESPN. And she said something along the lines of, let's switch gears for, and you know how a lot of journalists or something, when they're talking or they're interviewing somebody and they want to change the topic, they'll say, let's switch gears for a second. Okay, so that's what she said. Let's switch gears for a second. And Lavar Ball answered back to her, oh yeah, you can switch gears with me anytime. Do I believe that the comment was lewd? Yes, I do. Yes, definitely. Men say shit like that. He knew exactly what he was saying. I mean, it was tongue-in-cheek. I don't think that he really meant anything by it. But certain responses are ingrained in men. Their relationships, their interactions with women. This is what they do. This is what they know. I believe that Lavar Ball said that in knowing what it would imply, but kind of just felt like it would just be nothing because he does that shit all the time. Like that's his thing. So yeah, he meant it. 100% meant what he said. Or when I say meant, I don't think that he wants to fuck on the girl. What I'm saying is, he thought that it would be cute or funny to say something like that. And that all the men in the room would go hardy har. Okay? And yet another woman would be uncomfortable because some man that she has absolutely no attraction for has said some shit to her in a room full of men, and we just got to deal with it. Okay? Like, if you're a woman, you've heard these kind of things. People are now smartening up and not saying it as much anymore because we in a movement, we in an era right now where, you know, that shit ain't tolerated as much anymore. And who is finding that out? Lavar Ball. They done put him off ESPN. They done banned him. And you know, people are saying that it's too harsh, and you know, his lawyer is saying that he didn't mean it, you know, sexually, and that he just was like, oh yes, you can change gears, we can change topics anytime. Even fucking makes sense. The common sense will tell you that the man was being, he meant that, but didn't mean it, but meant it. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? I don't feel sorry for him that he's been banned from ESPN. Because first of all, I feel like Lavar Ball will be fine. But we're not going to give this excuse to him that he wasn't. I just don't even know what the word is that I'm trying to find. But all I'll say is Lavar Ball going to learn soon enough that the good old boys and the shit that you guys used to say amongst yourself as men and even to women, that shit don't fly well no more. Okay? So you better learn how to transition better than that. That's all I can say. Y'all think Jalen Rose want to whoop his ass? Now, Lavar Ball's big. He look like a big, strong man. So I don't think Jalen Rose want to go there. But I don't even think Jalen Rose is pressed. He knows how it goes. Lavar Ball just got caught up. But it was inappropriate. It was caught on camera. You do shit like that, then you have to pay for it. So right now, Lavar Ball, no more ESPN. So they say that Aunty Oprah, Aunty Gail, and Aunty Ava don't want to be your aunties no more. Yeah, they said we ain't kin. Ava said that it doesn't feel like a respect thing. She says, like, you're calling me Auntie Ava, like Aunt Jemima? And I was like, Ava, now why you had to take it all the way there? Why couldn't it be like Aunt Michelle, whose house you just went over on Sunday night for dinner? I mean, we had to go all the way to Aunt Jemima on that one? Shit. She said she'd rather be called sis or queen or maybe just Ava. Okay, I'm gonna just call you Ava. Okay, Oprah said the only time that she feels comfortable with being called auntie is when she's over in Africa because it's very standard. You know, it's customary for the women there to call older women, anybody that's older than them, either auntie or sister. Okay, so she gives the pass to the Africans. But as far as the United States, you know, Americans here, over here, damn it, don't call her Auntie Oprah. You can just call her Oprah. And then Gail says that, why y'all calling her auntie? Nobody calls Beyonce auntie. I was like, now Gail, I know you're not comparing yourself to Beyonce, are you? Now, you are old enough to be Beyonce's auntie. It's going to come a day and time when Beyonce is old enough to be auntie. But, you know, I think that this whole auntie thing is a sign of respect. But, you know, I also understand, like, there are certain things that people just don't like to be called. But as I've had this channel and I've been on social media and things, you know, you just kind of go with the times. Like, auntie doesn't bother me. Okay, diva used to really bother me. Diva doesn't bother me anymore. I know I'm not a diva like you know, like the word says. But now I know that there are just terms of endearment that certain women use. Now there are ways to use these words shady, and in that case, it would have to be the connotation and the conversation that surrounded what you're saying. If I'm saying something that would imply that the person is old, then that's different. But for the most part, I've gotten over my hang-ups about what people call me, unless I feel like you were talking to me derogatorily. Is that right? Derogatorily? I think that's right, y'all. But I'm just like, how about we don't call you shit? Y'all just don't call them Auntie nothing. Alright, now Oprah and Gayle had pissed a lot of people off recently. Alright, and Ava, I think a lot of people think Ava is older than she is, because Ava sometimes will give off the, you know, she gives off a more mature woman's, you know, persona. What is the word, child? I can't get these words. See, that's what happens when you don't write your notes down. I don't know if a lot of people didn't even realize that Ava was not the same age as a Gayle and Oprah. But you know, the bottom line is the women don't want to be called Auntie. Then don't call the heifers Auntie no more. Okay, just call them Oprah. Just call them Gayle. Just call them Ava. All right, and that way we won't have no more confusion about it. And then lastly, you guys, so I told you guys on the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta review that I did on Tuesday that they won the MTV award for reality royalty, the MTV TV and movie TV and Movie Awards, I believe it was called. And we were all shocked. Definitely was coming in as the underdog. I 100% did not believe Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was going to win. So when I saw that they won, I was shocked just like everybody else there. But I was happy for them. You know, they're my babies. They're my babies, y'all. I told you guys that there were a few things that was happening when they won. You know, the Johnny Bananas guy got up there and said some shit about his show was the best show. And they did show reactions of people in the audience. And there was some shock there. I did not realize that Jersey Shore was so upset, or a couple of the castmates was so upset on there, that they had taken to Twitter and was going on and on about it being bullshit, and that Jersey Shore, you know, was the best show, and that, you know, you could go to anybody in Jersey and say, you know, who the people were on there, they would know everybody. And I was like, bitch, you can go to Atlanta and most people would know who the cast for, well, let me just make the point, y'all. A lot of people would know who the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta cast are here too. At least the main people that have been there over the years, your Mimis, your Carlys, your Rashidas, right? So you're not saying anything that wouldn't pertain to the same show, okay? I think they were just salty at the fact that they did not win, thinking that, you know, they had returned back after years and years of being off the show. It was a very successful show for MTV, and that was their network, and they just expected to win because it was an MTV award. Well, you didn't win. Atlanta won. Okay, they won, they shot the BB gun. And for you, Jersey, okay, I got this cup for you. That's what the white people tears, you guys. The white people tears. You just put it in there in a little cup for the white people. Y'all just have it in there to put it in there, y'all. Just put if y'all don't eat this fucking applesauce and stop all this, you win some, you lose some. Who the fuck care about a damn MTV award anyway? What you need to do is just tighten up. Okay, if you think that your show should win next season, then maybe you guys should pull a few more stunts. Call the people over there and moan at me. Okay, they'll let you know how it go down. And maybe you'll have a better chance next year. Alright, you guys, let me get off of here. This was just like a thrown together, a whole bunch of, you know, whatever. But we got through it, you guys. I'm going to get on back to work. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Itsrox, the channel. That's not the ending. The ending is we do this every single week. So make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.